Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the 2013 AFC West Preview for the NFL. In first place, nothing mind-blowing or mind-boggling. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos at 12-4. The Broncos will be back with a vengeance this season, I believe. And in Game 1, I believe they play the Baltimore Ravens, so there should be some retribution as far as that game goes for them. And in a year or season, I should say, when Peyton Manning looked like, from a lot of people's perspective, that it was going to be a season where we were going to see deterioration, of his skills. He had posted second best single season totals, in a number of categories. Yards thrown, he threw for almost 4,700 yards. He threw 37 touchdowns, 105.8 quarterback rating, and I mean, the guy is phenomenal. What can be said? If there's any player there's no player that's infallible or irreproachable, but if anybody is closest to that in the NFL, it's probably Peyton Manning, I would believe. He 13-3, led him to, great record last season. They were fourth in total offense, and the total thing about this team is that they are balanced with their defense as well. They add cornerback Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie to the team, and the offense just is going to go even better this season. They acquired Wes Welker from the New England Patriots, and last season, they had started out, it looked like a very inauspicious start when they were like 2-3, and they started, throttling opponents. The final 11 games they won by an average of like 15 points per game around there. So I mean, they really ended on a rampage, but I think what happened was they kind of ran into the buzzsaw against the Baltimore Ravens, because in a lot of instances we'll see a team that ends the season with a flourish, and then in their first playoff game they play that season, it's like, I think they expend all that energy to win all those games, and then they hit up, they might hit a little, stumbling block when they hit, their first playoff game in that season. I think that's what might have happened with Denver, but I expect them, really to be the cream of the crop in football this season, and definitely they're a sure division winner in my opinion at 12-4. Second place, I'm going to go with the the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with them at 7-9. A lot of people think 9-7, 10-6. I know believe they're going to make some progress this season. I don't want to quite go 10-6 because that might be a little bit of too much of a jump to catapult from 2 wins to 10. I mean, it can be done. It's somewhat conceivable, but I'm being a little conservative. They finished 2-14 last season. They acquired head coach Andy Reid and quarterback Alex Smith. Alex Smith has completed about 70% of his passes, at least from as far as last season, and if not, he's very and if it's not that, I know his completion percentage is remarkably high, and they already have some things in place. They have Jamal Charles as a running back. He was first in the AFC with over 1,500 yards rushing. This team is somebody that is not somebody as a team, I believe, can be very competitive, and they could very well be in virtually every game they play this year. Last season was lamentable, to say the least. There were 7 games in which they were held to 10 points or less, and they had but I believe we're going to see a spark this season, mainly attributed to their head coach and new quarterback. I'm going to expect a lot more points they're going to score. Head coach, Andy Reid brings a lot of credibility to the team. He won a number of division titles when he was with the Eagles, and he, this is a team that is actually could very well be the most dramatically improved team in the NFL, and they were on the defensive end. They were obviously deplorable as well last season. They were tied for the least amount of interceptions, defensive interceptions, with 7, and I expect that to change this season. They added quarterback, I'm sure I'm pronouncing this name exactly, Nnamdi Asum Muga or something like that, and they got safety, I believe it's Craig Dull is his name, and this is obviously a team that is going, may go some places. Could very well get a wild card spot this season, but like I said, I'm going to go a little conservative with the 7 and 9. And I'm going to talk about third place team, San Diego Chargers. I'm going to go with them at 6 and 10. The last 3 seasons, they've been descending, as far as their win total goes, and I believe as far as the caliber of the team as well. 9 and 7, 2010, 8 and 8, 2011. They plummeted to 7 and 9 in 2012. This is a far cry for the team, I believe, went 13 and 3 in the 2009 season, which, as we know, got upset by my New York Jets in the divisional round. Last season, they were abysmal as far as their total yards in offense. They were next to last. Quarterback Philip Rivers, in a year which was supposed to be defined by redemption, may have redeemed himself a little bit. I mean, he had 26 touchdown passes, threw for over 3,600 yards, 15 interceptions. That total is not terrible. But he had 7 lost fumbles as well, so that accounts for 22 turnovers. So, it was a year he might have been a little better than he was the season prior to that. But we have to get rid of the dropsy epidemic that is going on in San Diego. They added running back Danny Woodhead to help augment an anemic running game, which ranked 27th in 2012. And this team, it's a thing, they probably feel fairly fortunate to be playing in the AFC West, because they are 3 and 10 against teams that finished with a winning record in the last 3 seasons. So, they obviously, they're going to have to do something to where they could start beating competitive teams, because they're not always going to have teams that they're going to play against that are going to be abysmal, that are going to be below 500. This division, might improve a little bit this year, because the Chiefs, like I said before, may be dramatically improved. And even though I have Kansas City in 7 and 10, I think they can go as high as 10 and 6. And that's not going to be one of those things where they can just automatically punch in a win in their mind and get complacent with the Chiefs, because they will have to be up and ready for them, as well as Denver. And the fact Oakland, is Oakland, but still it's a divisional game, and Oakland is going to play, will play the Chargers tough, more likely than not, in the 2 games they play them this season. And another thing I want to go back to Philip Rivers was that his quarterback rating had been lowest since 2007, and I really this is a team that could be on the decline a little bit. I think they going to compile a worse record than last year, and that would be 4 seasons. Well, if you want to count 3 where the record has descended every season, that it would from 9 and 7, 2010, 8 and 8, 2011, 7 9, 2012, and 6 and 10. I'm thinking in 2013 that the record would have dropped, from 2011 to 2013. So that'd be 3 consecutive years with the record dropping. So, and actually it would be 4, because 2009 I think they were 13 and 3. So this is a team a little bit on a decline, and I hope maybe I'll be wrong about that, and maybe Philip Rivers will step up and this team will produce a playoff season, but I don't think it's going to happen. Last but not least, I have the cellar dwellers at the Oakland Raiders at number 4 at 4 and 12. The team obviously is kind of in disarray and in a shambles in a way they're looking probably at reclamation rebuilding project, although this has gone on for a number of years, of course. Have not posted a winning record since 2002, and since 2003 they're 49-111. They only posted more than 5 wins in a single season 2 times since the 2003 season. They were number 28 in scoring defense last year, at about 28 points per game allowed. One of the few bright spots, place kicker Sebastian Janikowski, I should say, he'll return. Converted on over 91% of his field goals last season for the team. They had a very active draft. They were hardly stagnant, and acquired like about 10 people. Added quarterback Matt Flynn to the team, and he worked, I believe, primarily as a backup in his career, if not his whole career. And he doesn't necessarily read defensive schemes that well, and hopefully maybe he can improve on that a little bit this season. The Raiders have a long way to go, before they're going to really get up there and be a competitive team, once again. And the defensive end, they added I believe DJ Hayden to the team, and quarterback Tracy Porter as well. And this is a team, if they can improve a little bit defensively, they might surprise some people and be more competitive in some of their games. But I still look at this as a last place team, this season. I have them at 4-12. The absolute most I see them winning is 6 games this season. And the defense was abhorrent last year. They allowed 20 or more points in 13 of the 16 games they played, and that is really pitiful. And hopefully they will improve upon that in this season, and maybe they can go from there. But I think it may start with their defense, augmenting their defense and getting improvement in that department, and have everything else gradually fall into place from there. Well, anyway, people, I'm about to conclude with this segment from my 2013 AFC West predictions, and I'm going to just show you real quick my picks again. Just follow me over here. Okay, we're going to go with, again, Denver Broncos 12-4, second place Chiefs 7-9, which should make a friend of mine, Shonda Van Gozen, very proud. Third place San Diego Chargers 6-10, fourth place Oakland Raiders at 4-12. And people, I'll see you next time when I'll be dissertating and talking about the 2013 NFC East preview. Until next time, people, stay well.